Welcome back. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. We've got a full board of phone calls here, so we're going right back to the phones pretty quick. And it looks as if Jeff from Indiana is up next. Jeff, thanks for calling. You are live.
Pancreas, are you there?
Yes, sir. Now I am. Hey, there you are, Jeff. Thanks for calling. How can I help?
I got pancreas problems, and I take a lot of pain meds, a couple. But here's what's really bugging me about it. I take nausea medicine called Phenergan, 25 milligram. I've been taking this medicine for like 4 or 5 years. But the last 8 months, I take it, and I lose my mind. I don't know what I'm doing. And then when I don't take the Phenergan, you know, everything's okay. So I know if something's wrong with the medicine. I took it to my pharmacy and told him about it. And he said there's definitely a problem, but I should talk to my doctor. But I did talk to my doctor, and he really wasn't concerned about it. And
well, that's just crazy, right?
That's crazy, because I know something's a problem, yeah. Because this medicine's not done this. I've took this medicine a long while, and all of a sudden, like the past 8 or 9 months, you take it, and you're nuts.
Well, now listen, there's no law that requires you, me, or anything else to do what the medical doctors tell us to do if we're over 21 years of age. As long as you're an adult, then you can do whatever you want. Just because the doctor says you have to do something doesn't mean you have to do it. So
exactly. I don't take it. You know, all right. It's happened twice, so I know there's a problem. You can't get no answers. What is going on?
Isn't that frustrating? I mean, isn't that frustrating? I mean,
yes.
Would you put up with that type of behavior in any other line of work? I mean, if you went to your car mechanic and you'd just given him $2,000 to do something to your brakes, and every time you step on the brakes, you know, the car jams to a halt and you can't start it again, and there's a problem with the brakes. And if you brought the car back to him on a tow truck and he said, well, it's not my problem, I think it's fine, well, you wouldn't put up with that, would you?
No way. That's why I know there's a problem. I got to change the pain meds. If you don't try to take them, the withdrawal symptoms is terrible. But, you know, have you ever been that way, you know? But I'm at a loss. My friend has turned me on to all this, and I got to get it straightened out. That's why I'm new at this, and I need some help. I'm a diabetic also, but it seems like the insulin, there's a problem with that too. You take it, and you want to eat every minute. If you try to, you know. So I need some answers. I'm new, and I need some help.
All right, good. Well, I'm glad you called. We can dial this right in for you, all right? So I
would have called sooner if I knew I knew about this, but a good friend turned me on. So go ahead, sir.
Well, how much do you weigh?
180.
All right, so every month for 90 days. Now, you measure your blood sugars every day. Do you do that?
Yeah, you have to. He has me every meal.
Okay, good. And what type of medication for your blood sugar are you taking?
Humalog.
Yeah.
And then I take Lantus in the morning. That's a long-lasting insulin. I take 75 units in the morning of that.
Okay, and they've told you to change that, modify that based on what your blood sugars are, correct?
On the Humalog,
okay,
but not on the Lantus.
All right, so here's what I want you to do. Are you writing down the blood sugars every day, or do you just keep them in the memory of the machine that records them?
Right now, I keep them just in the memory of the machine because you can call it up and it's got the time, the date.
Yeah, all right. So what I'd like you to do, because it helps, is get a piece of paper and put it up on the fridge, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Just date it, you know, and every time you take your blood sugars from now on, I want you to write them down on that sheet so you can have a visual understanding of the trends that are happening with your blood sugars. Now, just keep taking the meds that you want to take now, right? Remember, it's a free country. You can do whatever you want. Keep taking the meds that you want to take and add, so at 180 pounds per month, I would do 2 healthy blood sugar packs per month and 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium a month. 2 healthy blood sugar packs, 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium per month, and I would do that for 90 days, 90 days. And while you're taking those supplements, you continue to take the meds. And as the blood sugars start to come down, which invariably they will start to come down, you adjust the metformin dose appropriately. And then as you're taking less and less and less of it, then you go back to the medical doctor. He'll look at your blood numbers, and then he will reduce the Lantus as well, because he has to.
Yes.
Because that's prescribed based on your blood sugars. Now, in a complicated thing like this, well, not so much complicated, really, but just such a long-term thing here, we do one thing at a time. But really, the Healthy Blood Sugar Pack, the intention of that is to support and promote the structure and function not only of your blood sugar, but of the entire system, because everything's connected. So the Healthy Blood Sugar Pack not only has stuff that you need to have healthy blood sugar, but it also has stuff that you need for healthy everything else. So for the first 90 days, that's all that I would recommend you do, the Healthy Blood Sugar Packs and the selenium. And the last thing here, man, there's 10 foods that I want you to stop eating. 10 foods that I want you to stop eating. Okay. Now, you use the internet, I'm assuming, correct?
Yes.
All right. Go to my website. FireYourMDNow.com. FireYourMDNow.com.
Yeah, I got it wrote down. Okay.
All right. And I want you to sign up for my free newsletter. It's right there on the front page.
Okay.
When you sign up for the free newsletter, it's free. My website directs you to a hidden page on the website where you can download my list of good food, bad food. All right.
Yeah.
So I want you to identify and eliminate the 10 bad foods. Take 2 Healthy Blood Sugar Packs and 4 bottles of selenium a month. Record your blood sugars on the chart, and as things start to improve, go back to the MDs, have them reduce the Lantus, and you'll be reducing the metformin appropriately. And give me a call every 4 weeks, more or less, with an update, and I'll help you fine-tune what we want to do.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, 1 month at a time. Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
My diabetic doctor, with my pancreas the way it is, I can't eat the proteins that they want you to on the diabetic diet, and the carbohydrates that the pancreas digests them better, I guess, is what she's saying. And then when I try the proteins, and then when I eat that, my pancreas hurts bad. I guess it's trying to digest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, all right. So which proteins specifically are they trying to get you to do?
No, just the diabetic diet has the proteins, chicken and stuff like that. But that hard food, I can't eat 3 meals a day.
All right. So here's what I want you to do instead.
Okay.
I want you to have chicken eggs, because the chicken egg is the protein that all other proteins are compared to. All right. And mixed salted nuts. Mixed salted nuts are fantastic. Probably one of the reasons you're having trouble digesting protein is because your stomach acid is weak. When your stomach acid is weak, it's hard to digest proteins, man. And the thing that causes stomach acid to become weak is not enough calcium and not enough salt. So I want you to start salting your food so that it tastes good.
Okay.
For the next 4 weeks, just eat chicken eggs and mixed salted nuts and easy-to-digest protein like chicken soup or, a little piece of white fish cooked in butter in a skillet. I don't want you to use oil anymore. And cook it up in butter. And if you have a negative experience from any food that you eat, just stop eating that food, right?
Yeah, I don't eat much,
Well, chicken eggs are a fantastic option for you, and I want you to start to get into the habit of using butter and salt. Use butter and salt on your food. No margarine, no oil, no fried food, but you can cook stuff in butter, and you can salt your food so that it tastes good. And I'm telling you the truth, man.
Oh, I believe you.
If you eliminate these 10 bad foods, you start eating chicken eggs, you start taking these nutritional supplements, every 2, 3, 4 weeks you're going to start to feel better and better and better, and then we're off to the races. Does that sound like a plan?
Sounds good. I want your listeners to know that you have to do this yourself, because I'm just finding information out, and I've been sick a while that my doctors don't tell me.
Well, I know, and this is, you're preaching to the choir here. That makes you the smartest man in class, man. This is exactly why we do what we do, because the medical doctors have completely let us down when it comes to things like this. I mean, they're really good if you chop your hand off, you know, in a chainsaw accident, heaven forbid, they're really good. You got a bullet in your leg or a third-degree burn. That's their wheelhouse. But for stuff like this, man, they're the leading cause of death in the United States, and we would all be better served if we all collectively fired our MDs now. Thanks for the trust. Thanks for the phone call, Jeff.
Thank you.
Go out there, put it to practice, and call me back in a couple of weeks. Kathy from Illinois is up next. She has a palpitation problem, I think. Hey, Kathy, thanks for the call. You are live. Come in, Kathy. Hello. Yeah, there you are, Kathy. How are you? Thanks for the call.
I'm okay. I was calling. I've been having a lot of palpitation problems, and last night I had a really bad attack. I've been changing my thyroid medicine a little bit. Had cut, you know, I talked to you about this before. I had cut my pills in half, and that seemed to help for probably about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. But then I started having the problems again, and so I went off the thyroid medicine completely for the last month. And I felt like I was more tired and stuff. So, and you had said just kind of see how you feel in a month. So I thought, well, I think I need to go back on it. So I started taking it again this past Monday. So I took it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then last night I had this real bad attack with my blood pressure gets really high, and I get palpitations.
So you get palpitations when you're off of the thyroid meds or when you're on the thyroid meds?
Well, I was getting it when I was on, and I stopped taking. First I cut it in half, and it seemed to like start to go away for a while, and then it started to come back.
All right, stick with that thought. We're up against a hard break. I'll finish this up with you on the other side of the break. Don't go away, Kathy. Hey, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden, tonight's webinar on thyroid health. We're talking to Kathy from Illinois right now. Now, Kathy, line this up for me again because I'm a little confused. So you've been diagnosed for a long time now with an underactive thyroid, and you've been taking thyroid medication for a long time, and then you started the medical nutrition program, and a couple months into the medical nutrition program you figured, well, now's maybe a good time to go off of my thyroid meds and see how I feel. So you weaned yourself off of the thyroid meds, and then what happened?
Well, initially I just cut it in half, and I was doing pretty good with that, but then I started having the palpitations again. So then I think I talked to you and you said, let's try just going off of it completely. And I have been off of that a month. And it was getting, you know, I would get these little episodes, but they weren't bad, just enough to notice. And then I thought at the end of that month, I felt like I was tired, and there was a couple other things that made me think maybe I needed to still take it. So I started taking it again just 3 days ago, and I had this really bad attack last night. So, all
right, so when you started to take it again, was it the same stuff at the full strength, or did you take the same stuff at the half strength? What'd you do?
I did the half strength. I just went back to the half a pill.
All right. And did you get any type of positive hit from that, or is it too early to tell? I mean, has your energy or mood improved at all in a couple days, or not so much?
I guess I really can't tell.
Yeah, okay, because generally speaking, when you introduce a thyroid medication into the body, it takes about 3 weeks for you to be able to judge the effects one way or the other. Now, this is a sticky wicket because one of the symptoms of an underactive thyroid are heart palpitations, and one of the symptoms of too much thyroid medication is heart palpitations, right? So this sword cuts both ways. It appears to me what's happening here is that your body is trying to, find its common ground here. So what I would do is for the next 6 months, well, first of all right, and let's just make this crystal clear for the listening audience. in the state that you live, I cannot prescribe thyroid medication. I can't do it. I can prescribe thyroid medication in 14, 15, 16 states in the United States, but where you live, I can't do that. And so what I've recommended that you do, I never ever make a recommendation for someone who's living in a state that I don't have prescriptive rights to mess around with their thyroid meds. What I tell people is if it were me, this is what I would do, or if you lived in a state where you were my patient and you came to me with these signs of symptoms, this is what I would do. You can do whatever you want. But I can't recommend people up or down prescription medications in states where I can't prescribe that stuff. And so I want to be very crystal clear here. This is what I've told Kathy to do. She's been on her own here, and she can do whatever she wants to do with her medications because it's a free country. So we're not prescribing stuff up or down one way or the other to people in the great state of Illinois because the great state of Illinois does not allow me to do that. It only allows medical doctors to do that, who are the leading cause of death in the United States, and you need to think long and hard about that. So it's a very interesting thing here. I think what needs to happen, if it were me, I would go back to your conventional medical doctor, and it's time for another blood test. I would have them do a free T3 or a free T4. Now, depending on what type of insurance you have and what your deductible is, you can also order these tests yourself online. There's no law against that. The testing to get is free T3, like Free Willy, F-R-E-E-T, like Thomas, 3, free T3, and free T4. You can get a thyroid test online, I think, for right around $100. So depending on how much money you've spent on your medical insurance now, how much they'd hit you for your deductible and how much the test would, you might want to call your primary care doc up and say, look, if I want you to do a free T3 and a free T4, how much is it going to cost me? And if it's less than $100, then it might be a good idea to go and do it. If it's more than $100, don't do it. You can order that test yourself. This is a very good time right now to get that test done. Then you'll have an objective understanding of really what's going on in your blood and whether it's time to go back on the meds or time to stay off of the meds and just lean on medical nutrition 100%. I think this is a very good time, Kathy, to get an objective measurement of what's up. So the first thing I want you to do, of course, keep taking the medical nutrition. Keep taking the nutritional program. Don't stop that. Continue to eliminate the 10 bad foods. Get the free T3 and the free T4 tested. Get back in touch with me and we'll take the next step. Boy, I don't know. Something's in the water today. Boy, the lines are just lit right up. We're just going to keep on beating this drum here. Ryden from Arizona is up next. Hey, Ryden, thanks for calling. You are live.
Hey, Dr. Glidden, how are you doing?
Good, thanks.
I have a few things I wanted to bring up. First off, I wanted to thank you for getting my mom fired up about this stuff. From listening to your radio show archives that we even got started on this, and we've been on it for about a month. She has noticed that her plantar fasciitis is gone. Her so-called fibromyalgia has greatly diminished, and she had a diagnosis of osteoporosis of the spine in her neck. It's been causing her so much pain that she was thinking about retiring from public life, just becoming a hermit, and that's improving significantly too. So,
isn't it remarkable? It's
really amazing. It's really amazing.
Why doesn't everybody know this?
I have no idea. I'm trying to remedy that myself.
Exactly, right? This is why we do what we do. And people don't believe it, man. I really don't know. And this is why, from my point of view, this is such important work. Because nobody knows this. Everybody needs to know it, and everybody is suffering, therefore, needlessly, right? We're like the people that say, look, purify your water, you'll live longer. Oh, it's a remarkable thing. There was a doctor in 19th century, I think his name was Semmelweis, right? Dr. Semmelweis, very famous historically. Dr. Semmelweis's claim to fame was that he was the first person to advocate that surgeons wash their hands before they do surgery, or that before they intervene in any way, shape, or form. And there was a thing in the 19th century called childbed fever, and it killed a lot of women who gave birth. And childbed fever was caused by doctors with dirty hands delivering babies, and they gave the women a secondary infection. And it was caused by the doctor's dirty hands delivering the baby. And Semmelweis said, look, wash your hands before you deliver babies. And this was such a radical idea to the medical community at the time. Oh, what are you talking about? There's these little invisible things that cause infections. That's heresy. You know, Semmelweis was completely discredited. It was bad for Semmelweis. He ended up, bankrupt. He ended up completely discredited. The medical profession basically kicked him out, made him look like an idiot. And now, of course, we look back in time, and Semmelweis's idea, we put him up on a pedestal, but back in the day, because he had such a radically new idea, he was vilified, and it's no different with what we do. We're vilified. Why? Because science progresses one funeral at a time. Quite frankly, I've got such a thick skin now that I just laugh whenever anybody tells me it doesn't work, because you know what? From now on, whenever someone tells me it doesn't work, I'm just going to give them your mother's phone number and she can get me talking to. How's that?
I don't think that she would mind too much.
So how can I help you today? Right.
Well, first off, I was wondering if you could tell me what the difference between the Cal Toddy and the OsteoFX is. I mean, I hear that the Cal Toddy has a little bit more magnesium in it, but it's less expensive, and so I'm confused about the differences between the two.
All right, so for the listening audience, the Cal Toddy and the OsteoFX Plus are two different liquid calcium supplements that you can get through the Longevity Company. Now, the OsteoFX Plus is the latest and greatest iteration of calcium supplements, and it is part of Longevity's boilerplate 90 essential nutrient package called the Healthy Start Pack. The body needs a lot of calcium every day, and so Dr. Wallach developed a very absorbable standalone liquid calcium supplement called OsteoFX Plus. The problem with OsteoFX Plus is it has a small amount of shellfish extract in it. And some people are allergic to shellfish, and so, or some people, have religious prohibitions against eating shellfish. So if you are allergic or you have a religious prohibition against shellfish, then you can't have the OsteoFX, but you need a liquid calcium, or you need a calcium supplement. Liquid calcium supplements are by far, hands down, the most easy, most efficient types of calcium that your body can absorb. So Dr. Wallach, in his wisdom, said, guess what? We're going to come up with another one, and they've got it. It's called Cal Toddy. So the Cal Toddy is another liquid calcium supplement. It does not have shellfish in it, and it has twice as much magnesium as the OsteoFX Plus does. Now, that can be a problem for some people because, if you have absorption issues, because you've been eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats your entire life, if you don't absorb the magnesium efficiently, it'll cause diarrhea. This is one of the biggest side effects of magnesium supplementation. So, my favorite calcium supplement is the Cal Toddy. I like the Cal Toddy because it has the extra magnesium, and I'm a big fan of extra magnesium. But that's really the main difference. It's got twice as much magnesium as the OsteoFX Plus does, but it doesn't have shellfish. It is less expensive, only because it's an older product. And really, so what I tell you what I do every day is I do a little bit of OsteoFX Plus. Well, I do 1 ounce of OsteoFX Plus and 1 ounce of the Cal Toddy. I split it up. And it really, in a perfect world, would I take the Cal Toddy all by itself? Probably, just because it's got more magnesium, and I like that.
Okay, and then the other thing is, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 years ago, I was diagnosed by a somewhat alternative doctor, not like my naturopath that I have now, with adrenal insufficiency. And my naturopath diagnosed me with hypothyroidism type 2. I don't know if you've heard about that particular aspect of it, but the basic principle that they put forward in the book that I read is that the thyroid produces the hormone in plenty, but the cells in the body aren't able to utilize it properly. And so
it's similar to like insulin resistance syndrome, that you've got enough of the hormone, but it's not interfacing with the cell properly. So what was their remedy for that? I'm interested to know what they told you to do to fix that.
Well, I've been on hydrocortisone off and on for the past 6 years, and he put me on NatureSteroid to supplement my thyroid. And as I was thinking about this not that long ago, I came to the conclusion that the fact that NatureSteroid, thyroid supplementation with the full range of thyroid actually helps with hypothyroidism type 2 kind of makes me think that the general basis of it isn't really what they say it is, because if I wasn't utilizing it properly, giving it more didn't really help me utilize it more, right? So it's like another MD weirdness going on. But I was wondering, now that I'm on the products, I've been taking the selenium, 3 bottles a month.
Yep.
And I've been taking the BTT and the OsteoFX. I weigh 150 pounds, so I've been taking 1.5 packs a month. And I also do the Cell Shield and the minerals. I do 1 ounce of the minerals a day. I haven't been able to recover my sleep quality like I've been wanting to. It's been a little bit better, but it seems like something's holding me back, and I was wondering if you might be able to help me figure out what I could do more or less in order to...
All right. Well, that's easy. Maybe it's easy. Let's try to dial that in, right? And so the problem with sleep, is it falling asleep or staying asleep?
Part of the problem is falling asleep. The other half of the problem is it doesn't really seem to matter how long I sleep. I always wake up tired. I could sleep for 6 hours or I could sleep for 12 hours, and it would feel the same to me when I woke up.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Do you have a partner? Do you sleep by yourself, or do you sleep in company?
I am by myself.
Okay. All right. It's interesting, isn't it? So I'm wondering, there's only 2 possibilities here. Number one is that, yes, in fact, you do have an underactive thyroid. Are you colder than everybody else? Do you have cold hands and feet on a regular basis or not? Not usually anymore, no. I used to, but since I've been on the NatureSteroid, that's gotten almost completely better. I actually am a lot warmer than most people now. Okay, and how tall are you and how much do you weigh? I am 5'9", and I average about 150 to 155. Okay, and are you an exercise person at all? Do you do any type of regular or irregular exercise? What's that like? Yeah, I am studying Kung Fu, and so I have some stance work that I do, and I do a little bit of push-ups and pull-ups and stuff based on my weight. And when you were a kid, did any medical professional ever tell you that they thought that you might have a problem with anemia or not? I mean, was that ever a word that was thrown around based on your blood results? Oh, you might be anemic, or oh, yeah, right, you're anemic. Did anybody ever tell you that? Mom, did they tell me I'm anemic? Did a medical... Was I ever... Did the doctor ever diagnose me with anemia? Yeah. Okay, no. Sorry about that. My mom knows my medical history better than I do. Yeah, understood. Okay, good. How old are you, by the way? I'm 24. Okay, excellent. Yeah, my son's 24 years old. So you were born in 1988? I was. Very, very good. Yeah, we love that. That was a banner year for me, I tell you what. All right. Well, look. So there's only a number of things that are possible here. Do you get sleepy in the afternoon after you eat lunch? Not as much anymore, but I think that's mainly because of the supplements and the fact that I'm not eating as much as I used to. I used to fill my stomach at every meal, and at the most I have a piece of chicken thigh and a little bit of rice for lunch most of the time. All right, so here's I'm going to have you do an interesting little experiment, all right? Okay. Sometime in the next couple days, I want you to go get a Snickers bar or a Milky Way or a Three Musketeers, all right? Okay. I want you to eat it. and I want you to eat it rather quickly. I want you to eat the whole thing in like 10 minutes. Just chew it down, swallow it, and then look at your watch and see what time it is.
Okay.
And then within the next hour and a half, within the next 90 minutes, I want you to pay particular attention to what happens to your energy.
Okay.
Within the 90 minutes after swallowing that candy bar, eating that candy bar, I want you to look to see whether or not you get remarkably sleepy. You know, like, oh, you know, I need to take a siesta, or like I need to close my eyes, or like, man, I just shifted from fourth gear down to first gear and I need to sit down and just chill. I want you to pay particular attention to what happens to your energy after you eat the candy bar. Now, if your energy takes a nosedive, like a noticeable, remarkable nosedive within 90 minutes, then probably the root cause of your lack of energy in the morning is a blood sugar issue. It's unrelated to thyroid function. It would be unrelated to adrenal function. It's a sugar issue. If nothing happens noticeably to your energy within 90 minutes of eating that candy bar, then it's not a blood sugar issue. And what I would do in that regard is I would, for an experiment, for 7 days, I would take the 200-pound dose of the 90 essential nutrients. So that's 2 scoops of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, 2 ounces of the white liquid calcium, and 6 essential fatty acid supplements a day. So do both of those experiments and then call me back after you've completed it with a report, and I'll help you dial this in further. Thanks for the phone call, Ryan. We're up against a hard break. Sandra from Michigan is calling in with a question about a bladder stone. Hey, Sandra, welcome aboard.
I have to say this is super synchronicity, because every time I call, you always talk about Semmelweis, and that's the place, the hospital my daughter was born in Austria.
Isn't that something? How about that?
And there's always a Sandy also on the, you know, another Sandy from somewhere else.
Uh-oh.
So it's like, okay, and it was meant to be today that I was supposed to call. Okay. My husband has a bladder stone, not a kidney stone. I know it's related, I'm sure, just moved into the bladder there, but so what I wanted to find out so that he doesn't get one of those, like, where they go in there and, you know, do the microblast of the big boulder there. Is there something that can be done naturally so he can avoid this stupid surgery? Or is there no choice? Because it is too big to pass, this stone, apparently.
Well, he can eat lots of asparagus.
Asparagus?
Yeah, interesting. Didn't think I was going to say that, did you? You can.
No, I never heard.
Yeah, because asparagus will help to alkalinize the bladder, and that will help to, it will. I always get this backwards. When he eats asparagus, it will help his bladder to dissolve the stone.
Really? Even if it's like a boulder?
Yeah, even if it's like a boulder, right? I mean, you can never unsurgery something. Right?
Yeah, no, I get it. So,
you know, and who the heck knows? But I mean, for goodness sake, if it were me, I would do this before I let him do any type of surgery on me.
Sure.
I mean, no kidding. And the other thing, right? Of course, because you know everything's connected, and this is a holistic method. You know, we don't want to just do that, but of course, he needs to be on the Healthy Start Pack, the selenium, and eliminate the 10 bad foods.
Yeah, well. It's not easy with him, you know.
Well, okay.
We got really the opposite. What can I tell you?
Well, so here's what I want you to do, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Get 1 bottle of the Cherry Mints, 1 bottle of the Cherry Mints, which is the plant minerals with the cherry flavor. Give him 1 ounce of the Cherry Mints twice a day for 2 weeks. 1 ounce of the Cherry Mints twice a day for 2 weeks, and see if he notices a difference somewhere in his body-mind, right? Energy, mood, appetite, sleep, whatever. I'm
giving him those mineral caps. Are those?
Yeah, how long have you been doing that?
A couple months, and I'm giving him 3 a day, the mineral caps. He weighs like 210.
Has he noticed a difference?
I'm never sure. He's always tired. I mean, listen, if I had my way, he would, you know, if it were a perfect world, he'd listen to me and he'd be all better with everything. But
well, yeah, but I tell you, you know, some people are just thick and they just don't get it. I mean, even if their energy and their sleep do improve, they just miss it because, you know, they're not concerned with their physical body that much. But I tell you, Sandy, it's the rare human being. It is the rare human being that takes the mineral supplements and doesn't feel any bit of difference whatsoever. So here's what I want you to do then. Stop giving him the mineral supplements. Just stop it. And mark on your calendar the day that you stopped giving it to him. Mark it on the calendar and just wait 7 days. and see how he feels. Because probably what happens, you can't feel your hair growing, right? Because it grows too slowly. You can't feel it growing. So sometimes people that aren't really, mindful, things will start to change, but they're changing so slowly that they don't recognize it. But when you stop the supplement, he'll feel worse again. And he'll feel that within 3, 4, 5 days of stopping the minerals. So that's what I would do as an experiment. I would stop giving him the mineral caps. Mark the day on the calendar you stopped giving it to him. And 4 days later, just check in with him. And say, hey, Harry, how do you feel? And I bet you that he'll notice something negative has flared up since he stopped taking the mineral caps. And then maybe if he can kind of have his own personal experience that, this is really good for me, or that he feels better when he takes it, then maybe you'll have a foot in the door. That's
on this asparagus, how is it? Just lightly steam it and...
Yes, with butter. Lightly steam it with butter and salt. I'd eat 6 sticks of asparagus a day, 6 sticks of asparagus a day and I do that for, let me think, I do that for 8 weeks. 6 sticks of asparagus a day for 8 weeks, and then has he had the stone measured? Have they actually measured it?
I think they did something there over there.
All right, so go back and have them do it again and measure it again and see if it's less.
And then I have one quick question, real quick one. Take 2 seconds. I can wait after the break.
No, there's no more break. This is it.
Celiac, is that genetic or not?
No, not genetic.
I'm doing a project for my class. I just want to make sure I ruled that out. I didn't think so, so it's not genetic. Okay.
No, there's no gene that codes for celiac disease. It's wheat, barley, rye, and oats. From our point of view, that's the main problem there. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's a webinar tonight on the thyroid function. I'll see you tomorrow, same bat time, same bat station, over and out.